How's it going, YouTube? And we are back with another Master Duels deck profile. So basically, it's just a continuation of the last Master Duels, or yeah, the last deck profile that we did for the Darklords or the pure form of Darklords. And we're still gonna do that, but with a little twist. We are adding some support cards for our Darklords to increase our win rate for this deck. So if you need any navigation throughout the whole video, since this video will be long, there's a timestamp down below in the description, and that will help you throughout the video. So you can skip through the replays and go directly to the deck profile if you want. So yeah, first of all, I would like to say thank you for the support and the views for the people who actually watched my previous video, and I will talk about their comments since their comments are relevant to this video that I am posting or I am uploading. First guy who actually commented on my video is Bruiser. He is Spanish typically because I don't understand what he's saying. So what I did is just use Google Translate, and to poof, we have an instant translation. Although it's not really accurate, but it will do. So what he said was, good video, one question, is the deck any good? I hardly use the Darklords, and I don't know if I should use the deck that you recommend. And great gameplay, by the way. So Bruiser, thank you so much for the comment. And I would say, if you like to play just to have fun, I would recommend the pure form of Darklords if you want. But if you want to gain ranks or gain levels using this Darklord, or the Darklord deck, I would recommend you visit SnowiKs Channel. Link is here or down in the description below. He uses a hybrid Darklords with 3 archetypes of each. So he tried Eldritch, Shadow, and Invoke for this one. So far so good. The cleanest one so far that he has used is the Eldritch with the Darklords. So check out his videos. It's mostly Darklord content. Well, I've seen his Darklord content and it was pretty nice. Go ahead and visit his channel if you want. So next one we have Azure Darkness Yugi. He said, I just recently started using Darklords. I feel the deck needs work. The extra deck is only 5. So Azure, I would say you only need 2 Darklord monsters for your extra deck, and that is your first Darklord and your condemned Darklord. The number of copies, I will talk about that in the deck profile in a while. So yeah. Next we have Rage Lacy. Rage Lacy said, I'm the type of guy that needs 1 or 2 of every monster types. So I'm guessing, or what he's trying to say is, if ever one is banished or sent to the graveyard, you need to have an extra copy of that. So I'm guessing that's what he said, or that's what he meant. So yeah. Next we have Bael. Bael, I think he's from the Philippines, and specifically from my region because he is speaking my dialect. But I will translate that one in a short or in layman's term. So what he said, the deck is not that hard to know or to learn. It's a bricky deck, The Darklord deck is not really consistent, and the combo is reliant on having your Darklord magic or trap cards in your graveyard, which is true, to be honest. That is one of the downsides of having a Darklord deck. So mostly you need to have your Darklord magic or trap cards in your graveyard to have that used by your Darklord monster. So yeah. Last guy who actually commented is just my friend Zach, who actually given me the video for our duel on the previous Darklord video that I created. So with the comments out of the way, let's go on to the replays. And we are back! Hope you guys love the replays, and we are now in the deck profile for the Darklords, or the pure form of Darklords. So I will say this is the pure form of Darklords, and there are no other archetypes here that you can see. Although there are some other monsters that is not with the archetype, but it's just for support. So first off, I am putting 2 copies of Maxis just because from rookie until higher ranks, you will have a lot of spell summon going on your opponent's side of the field. So Maxi, not being forbidden or limited, you can use 3 copies at most. But I prefer running 2 copies because I'd like to prefer running with a bunch of Darklord monsters or cards on my deck. So that's that. Next up, we have 2 copies of Darklord Ukobek. Ukobek is a good card, or is one of your level 3 and level 4 monsters that you need for the deck, since most of your monsters are level 5 or higher. So that's that. So Ukobek is a must, and also it has a special ability wherein when you summon or special summon it to the field, you can send 1 Darklord card from your deck and send it to the graveyard. So yeah, it's a good card. So 2 copies of that one. So next up, we have 1 copy of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is situational for me, but it helped me a lot in some conditions or in some situations. Maybe I'll change this one with Ukobek for another copy of Ukobek, or yeah, I don't know. So 1 copy of Ash Blossom is just fine with me at the moment. Next up, we have 1 copy of Capricious Darklord. I got this card mainly because of its quick effect that I can tribute summon 1 fairy monster face up on the field, and also when this card is in the graveyard, your opponent's monster, all of your opponent's monster loses 500 attack or defense for this turn. So that 1 copy for that one. Next up, one and your last Darklord monsters that is level 4, you have your Indulge Darklord. 3 copies for this one because it is a must. Your Indulge Darklord, let's use search a card or search a Darklord monster from your deck and add that one to your hand. Although the downside for this monster is that before you search that card, you have to special summon 1 Darklord monster on your opponent's side of the field. So yeah, be careful of this card. So I advise, if you go on first, or if you're going first, summon a low-level monster like Capricious or Ukobek to their field. Or if ever you are capable of destroying that monster, have Superbia or any monsters that can or that has a good effect. So next up, we have 1 copy of Dark Honest. So Dark Honest is one of those situational cards that I use during battle phase that turns an attacking monster of your opponent into zeros, and then you'll be even. You will be even. But yeah, Dark Honest is actually good. Way back I tried using 2, but it was too much, so 1 copy is enough. Next up, we have Darklord. Lets you send 1 Darklord card from your hand and itself to the graveyard, and then you can search your graveyard for a Darklord card and add that card to your hand. So yeah, also it has its effect wherein you pay 1,000 life points and you copy a Darklord magic or trap card from your graveyard. So next, we have your Darklord Nassen. 3 copies of this one mainly because you can special summon this monster by discarding 2 Darklord cards from your hand to the graveyard. Also, it has a quick effect wherein you pay 1,000 and copy an effect of a Darklord magic or trap card in your graveyard. So yeah, that's one of the good effects. You can even use this one during battle phase. Take note. Next, we have Darklord Zeratu. Darklord Zeratu, if you have 4 or more dark monsters with the different names in your graveyard, you can tribute some discard. And also, if you discard one dark monster from your hand to the graveyard, you can destroy all of your opponent's monster on the field. And this is not a once per turn, people, but only after you use this effect, this card will be destroyed after the end of your turn. So I think that's it. Yeah, once per turn during the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn, destroy this card. So that's the only once per turn for this monster. So next, we have Darklord Krisha. So Darklord Krisha, if you have exactly 4 fairy type monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon this to the field. Downside for Arklord Christia is that once you special summon it to the field and you get the one fairy type monster from your graveyard and add that one to your hand, you can no longer special summon any monster. So take note on this one. You might use this monster first, and then you can special summon no more. So yeah, situational cards. Next, we have Darklord Superbia. So Superbia, 3 copies of this one. It's this monster is basically a monster reborn once it's special summoned to your side of the field. So you special summon Superbia to the field, and then you special summon another Darklord monster to your side of the field, and have that even link summon to another Condemn or to whatever link monster that you need, or have that one Xyz. Depends on you. So yeah. Oh yeah, take note for Superbia, it has its timings. So advisable not to use this one during or chain linking or chain summoning, because it has its timing. You'll know that you'll miss its timings because there's gonna be a prompt up message on your screen when you try to summon. When you summon this one, there's gonna be a pop-up message that you missed its timing. So next up, we have 1 copy of Darklord Nurgle. So Darklord Nurgle has its effects wherein you pay 1,000 life points like other Darklords and copy a Darklord magic or trap card from your graveyard. One of its positive effects is it has its piercing effect, but this piercing effect doesn't only work on Nurgle itself, but to all Darklord monsters face up on your field. So take note, just 1 copy for this one. It's already good just having 1 copy. Next up, we have Darklord Tezcatlipoca, or Tez is for short. If you are going first at the start of the game, I advise having Tez on your hand just in case your monsters will be destroyed by a card effect or by battle. So yeah, so it's not for the whole turn, guys. It's not for the whole turn. It's just for that time. Yeah. So next, we have 3 copies of Darklord Eggshell. So Darklord Eggshell is discard, and another Darklord card from your hand to the graveyard, and you can draw 2 more cards. So it's basically a pot of greed, except for the part of discarding the cards. Also, it has one of those same effects like Nurgle and Nassen, where you pay 1,000 life points, like a quick effect, and then you copy a Darklord magic or trap card from your graveyard. So yeah, just 3 copies of this one. It's all good for your draw power, and you need draw power for a Darklord deck. Next, we have your last monster, and your 3k beat stick is your Darklord Morningstar. So basically, your Darklord Morningstar can only be tribute summoned to the field by tributing 3 monsters, or with the effect of Condemned Darklord, you can banish 2 monsters from your graveyard out of play, and then you can tribute summon this to the field. Once this card is tribute summoned, you can spell summon any number of Darklord monsters from your deck or your hand to your side of the field, depending on the number of effect monsters that your opponent controls. Also, if there's other Darklord monsters on the field, this card cannot be targeted by any effects. And lastly, every turn you can discard any number of cards from the top of your deck to your graveyard, depending on the number of Darklord monsters face up on the field. And with any Darklord monsters or Darklord cards sent to the graveyard, with that effect, you'll gain 500 life points for each Darklord card you sent to the graveyard. So yeah. So that is all the monsters that we have. We are going to your Magic and Trap. So Magic and Trap will go on first with Raigeki, just because you need to destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field, because there's gonna be a lot of special summon, boys, a lot of special summon. So it's self-explanatory. Next, we have 1 copy of Monster Reborn, because it's only limited to 1, of course. Next up, we have 1 copy of Trade-In. Before, I've run with 2 copies of Trade-In, but not anymore, because 2 is too much, and you have a lot of level 8s in your deck rather than magic and traps. So yeah, it's easy to pull out a level 8 from your deck. So 1 copy of Trade-In is good, and draw power is needed. Next, we have your Banishment of the Darklord. So Banishment of the Darklord lets you add 1 Darklord card from your deck to your hand. That's it. Next, we have your Darklord Contact. Darklord Contact is basically a Monster Reborn. So that's it. Basically, Monster Reborn. And then we have your last magic card, 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Why, you might say I took Forbidden Droplet because you can discard any number of cards from your field or your hand to the graveyard and then negate the effect of a monster and half its attack. You need to discard a lot of cards from your hand or your field to the graveyard just because you're playing the Darklord. But I think you can, or some players will run with other cards. Just tell me, guys, if I'm wrong in the comment section below, please. So be good. So yeah, oh yeah, by the way, so 3 copies of the Banishment of the Darklord and 3 copies of Darklord Contact. So that is all your magic cards. Lastly, your trap cards. There's not much trap cards that you'll need, only 4 at the moment. So let's first off talk about Darklord Rebellion. Darklord Rebellion is typically like Tribute to the Doom, but instead of a monster, you can destroy 1 card on the field. So yeah, but also you need to discard 1 Darklord monster from your hand to the or face up on the field to the graveyard. So yeah. So next we have Darklord enchantments. So just like Darklord Rebellion, discard 1 Darklord monster from your hand or the field to the graveyard, and then you take control of 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field. So yeah, that's for 1 turn. It's just typically change of heart or a mind control. Second to the last trap card, you'll have your Sanctified Darklord. Discard 1 Darklord monster from your hand or the field to the graveyard. Gain the exact amount of life points from its attack, and you can negate an effect of any monster on the field. And lastly, your Darklord Uprising for your last trap card. So Darklord Uprising is kind of like Sanctified Darklord, wherein you gain the same amount of life points from the attack of the monster that you have discarded or you have sent to the graveyard. And I'll talk about this in a while, because this is one of your important cards in your deck, to be honest. So that's that. That is the main deck, and let's go on to the extra deck. So with your extra deck, you need 2 copies of your first Darklord, mainly because this is your 4K beat stick and your main priority for special summoning. So you need 2 copies of this one, because if ever 1 is banished or sent to the graveyard, you have an extra copy that you can use for the deck or for the game. So the effect for this one, if this one is special summon to the field, all fairy type monsters on the field are untargeted by card effects. Next, if this card is fusion summoned to the field by the use of Darklord Morningstar as its fusion material, you can destroy all cards on your opponent's side of the field. Yes, all cards on your opponent's side of the field. That's an OP effect, to be honest. And lastly, one of its quick effect, once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points and you can spell summon a Darklord monster from your graveyard to your side of the field. So if you summon Superbia to the field and then Superbia to another Darklord monster. So yeah, you immediately have 3 monsters in 1 turn. Next we have number 97, and because I skipped from number 100 is because I'll talk about that in a while. Number 97 is easy to special summon to your side of the field since you have more level 8s in your deck. After summoning number 87, you can either go for an OTK for number 100, or you can have number 38, which can negate an effect of a card on the field. So that is that for your XZs. Now go on to the links. Links is first off Nightmare Phoenix, just because you can discard 1 card and then target 1 spell and trap card on your opponent's side of the field and have that one destroyed. Next, we have your last Darklord monster in your extra deck, your Condemned Darklord. So first off, like I said a while ago, you can tribute summon a Darklord monster from your hand to the field by banishing 2 monsters from your graveyard out of play, and then you can tribute summon that monster. So instead of using your monsters on the field for tribute summoning, you can just banish 2 monsters instead. So that's one of the good effects to summon Morningstar to your side of the field. Next up, you can discard 1 card from your hand and send it to the graveyard to search for a Darklord monster from your deck and add that one to your hand. So if ever you want to search for a specific Darklord monster that you want, you can always get Condemned Darklord to do that for you. And lastly, Condemned Darklord, after the end of your turn or during the end of your turn, you can gain 500 more life points for every Darklord monster face up on the field. And this effect is stackable with how many Condemned Darklords you have on your field. So if you ever have 2 or 3 copies, that will stack up. So yeah, and also Darklord monsters keep paying 1000 life points to use its effect. So this card is it's a saving grace, per se. So yeah, you won't be afraid to lose any more life points just because Condemned Darklord is on your side of the field. So just 2 copies of this one is enough, and 3 copies is just too much. But it's personal preference, guys. Personal preference. So next we have your Nightmare Unicorn. Discard 1 card and then send 1 card on the field back to the owner's deck and shuffle. So it's basically discarding a card is needed also, aside from draw power. Last 4 cards, we have Blackluster Soldier, just for the 3k effect and the banishment. I like that one. Next, we have Borrelsword Dragon, 1 copy, just because of its effect. It can change attack and change an attack position monster to defense, and you can attack twice after using that effect. Also, you can gain half of the life points from the attack monster once this card is activated, I'm guessing. Once per turn, when this card declares an attack on your face-up monster, you can activate the effect until the end of the turn, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Next, we have access code Talker. So basically, you keep on sending your link monsters to your graveyard. So access code Talker is a must. You can destroy how many monsters on your, or how many cards on your opponent's side of the field, depending on how many links that you have in your graveyard, of course. And also, it's easy to summon Link 4 monster because Darklords, or a pure form of Darklords, keeps on special summoning to the field. So yeah, that's that. Lastly, or last but not the least, your one of your 3k bit sticks is your Underworld Goddess of Close World. So this monster, I got this one just because I can use one of the effect monsters on my opponent's side of the field as link material. Also, you can negate the activation of a card that can special summon a monster. Without further ado, so that is all for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening to my nagging, and hope to see you guys in the next Master Duels or unboxing video in this channel. So keep safe, have a good day, and love you.